Let me first dissect what Stephen A. Smith pretty much said. Stephen A. Smith pretty much said, I mean, stats don't really mean anything. He's one of the best statistical players we've ever seen. It's just, and he's never won. Not to mention, he's played alongside people like KD, James Harden, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, Victor Oladipo, James Harden again when he went to Houston, now Bradley Beal, and he hasn't been able to win. That is true. I do think that there's some people in the league and some people's games that just don't. They can be incredible. They just don't. They just don't. Their game might not be as championship lending as another game. Like we look at, to me, when you look at dominance, Steph Curry and Russell Westbrook dominate the same. Like they both dominate the game, but they dominate in two completely different ways. Steph Curry dominates from the 3-point line. He's able to get his teammates involved, assists, and he's able to dictate the momentum, the speed of the game from his shot ability to and the way that he's able to pretty much orchestrate his team. Of course, you have Draymond Green, but we're talking about Steph Curry right now. Russell Westbrook, his fire. He knows one thing, and that is east and west, north and south. And he's gonna give you he's gonna give you the energy. He's gonna give you he's gonna give you the passion, and he's gonna give you some stats game after game, whether you win or lose. Here's the thing, man. We look at players. Like I said, there's some players that game just don't translate into championships, but that doesn't mean they weren't good. Russell Westbrook falls under a category like a Charles Barkley, like a Chris Webber, like a what's his name? Derrick Rose. It's like their games are so good they just didn't translate into winning. Now some were different than others. Like Charles Barkley most definitely could have won a championship. He just ran into Jordan. Vince Carter could have won a championship. Tracy McGrady could have won a championship. They just ran into Kobe and Shaq. Of course, Derrick Rose was good enough to win a championship. He ran into injuries, and he also ran into LeBron James. It's just here's what can be said. I agree with the fact that I believe with the especially with the OKC, Russell Westbrook, KD, and James Harden team, I think that they were good enough to win a championship, and it's very unfortunate that they didn't. But I don't think that. I think Russell Westbrook gets unfairly criticized more than anyone in the league. I will say this. It is true that I do think that Russell Westbrook has not adapted to the game well. As far as he came into the league north and south, going north and south, energy, this, that, and the third, and he does that to this day. But the game has changed. There's no, the game isn't, when Russell Westbrook came into the league, right? It was, Dwight Howard was still dominant. Shaq still had his years, and I don't remember where he was at this point, but I don't think Shaq, but I know Dwight Howard was still dominant. Andrew Bynum was still in here. It's like you were winning if you had a dominant big man. Hell, Dwight got the Magic to the championship with Hedo Turkoglu, Mikael Pietrus, Jameer Nelson, Rashad Lewis. Dwight Howard was a factor. Hell, even if you look at the Bulls teams with Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah was one of the best centers in the league in his tenure when he was with the Bulls. The game now has moved further and further away from the basket. When you look at some of the top players, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, KD, hell, you look at LeBron. LeBron James has developed a better shot. If you're not a good 3-point shooter and you're a guard, to me, that's a detriment to your game. And Russell Westbrook, statistically, I think is the worst ever when it comes to that. So I do agree with the fact that Russell Westbrook has not adapted to the game well. But Russell Westbrook is still one of the best guards in the league. He's still one of the most high energy players in the league, if not the most high energy player. And Russell Westbrook is still going to go down as one of the greatest, most athletic point guards we've ever seen. I'm not saying he is the greatest. I'm not saying that he's top 10. But what I'm saying is when we talk of Russell Westbrook, we will talk about how great he was. We'll talk about the triple doubles. We'll talk about the 20-20-20 games. We'll talk about the fact that every game he was able to give 100%, and he gave 100%. And we'll also talk about, even if he doesn't win a championship, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, I understand a lot of people don't really take the Hall of Fame seriously, whatever. I don't really care. But not everyone's a Hall of Famer. So, again, we look at Tracy McGrady's game. Tracy McGrady never made it out the first round. But Tracy McGrady is still regarded as one of the best guards to ever play. Vince Carter has never played in a championship and still considered one of the best guards ever. Hell, my favorite player of all time, Allen Iverson, has only played in one championship. And I think only won one game. Yeah, I think they were 4-1. He's still regarded as one of the best. Chris Webber is one of the best. Never won a championship. Charles Barkley. Hell, we know how great Charles Barkley was. Never won a championship. I think that, yeah, Russ. I think the difference between those players and Russ, of course, is who he's played with. But you look at Russell Westbrook. Now, I will say this. To me, a lot of the times they didn't win was due to Westbrook's stubbornness to evolve his game. And I do think that is a detriment to Russell Westbrook. But I will never look at Russell Westbrook and think that dude's trash. Like he might have some questionable decisions, but Russell Westbrook is Russell Westbrook. He's an enigma. You know what I mean? He's something that you just can't explain, but you know it's good, or you know what it is. You just can't explain it. An enigma. So again, I understand. Stephen A. Smith. We know Stephen A. Smith always has these type of takes. I mean, he's made millions off of going against the grain. He's made millions off of his voice, off of his opinion. So you're gonna understand that. And I also understand Russell Westbrook and his lovely wife coming back and saying stuff to, pretty much, if you don't really got nothing nice to say about my husband or about me, just don't say nothing. I mean, hell, you look at this year, Russell Westbrook is averaging another triple-double. He's averaging 22, 10, and 11. Now, of course, the Wizards aren't winning, but he's still again, an enigma. He's still having one of the best statistical seasons ever as far as, points and not like field goals or nothing. So